Hey, welcome back to my channel. Meera here. Today I'll be talking about the differences between sticky and fixed positions in CSS. So it's all about CSS positions, but we speak about just two positions in a comparative way. One is sticky position and the other one is fixed position. Okay, so let's start doing it. Let's get our HTML done. Okay, here you go. You can code along with me while I'm doing it. So first we do the fixed position. Okay, so this is my fixed position. I give it a paragraph, p element. Okay, give it some name. What's the meaning of fixed? As you know from the name itself, it means fixed position will not move even if you scroll the page, from the name itself. So we see how it can be done here. Let's give it a div class. You've already done this before, so let's give it a class of fixed so that I can show you an example of a fixed div. Okay, so this is a fixed position. Forgot to close the div. Very important, don't forget to close the div. Okay, now let's see what's happening. Let's run the page and see. Okay, you cannot see anything because we haven't done the CSS for this, right? So we need to style it. Let's head over to the CSS page, give it some style so that it's more visible. Div dot, because we gave it a class of fixed, so it's dot fixed. If you remember the curly braces, position. What is the position? It's fixed. Okay, the right margin, that can be anything, but here I give it a right margin of 0. Width, let's say 500 px. Again, it's your choice. Border, let's say 5 px. Solid, give it a color. Give a color to the border. Let's say blue. Let's give it a background color. Let's say black. Color for the text, white. Padding, let's say 30 px. Let's refresh the page and run. So this is fixed. That is, when you try to move the page, if you move it here, nothing happens. And also later when you see, when we add some text, when you're able, because in order to scroll from bottom top vertical way, you need more text. So you'll find that even in that scenario, this doesn't move, right? You can even change this position here. wait, not this one. If you also add a bottom 0, bottom margin 0, and then run again, then it goes to the bottom, because this is bottom 0 margin from the bottom. Otherwise, if you just leave it without the bottom, it will go up, as you've noticed earlier. So we'll just bring it back to the earlier one. Run again. It goes here, so you know how it is. Now head back to your HTML. Okay, now you want to do and see how the sticky one looks like, the sticky position. So here you go. This, I want to do something for the sticky, so we write our HTML for the sticky. Let's give it a title, or let's give it a heading, sorry, h2 heading. Let's call it sticky position, right? Okay, then let's give it some paragraph with some write-up. Scroll down to see the effect, right? So we'll be adding more text later. And then I want to give a div, the div class, if you remember. So here the div class will be sticky, right? Because you want to see the sticky position. Close the div. What do you want to write here in between the div? What is the meaning of sticky? I will stick to the screen. When I reach my scroll. So this is something like a position or a threshold. You will see how okay, give it some more paragraph. The more write-up you give, the more you can see the effect, scroll effect. Right, this is just for your remembrance later. So I'm writing it so that you scroll in that particular direction. Now I'm going to add in a lot of text so that it helps in the scrolling. Remember, the more text, the more you can have the scroll effect visibly here. Okay, so I just grabbed some ipsum lorem. So what I do is I just keep on adding that. Oh, sorry. Control V. Keep on adding as much as possible. This is just for example's sake. Then we head over to the CSS style sheet. Okay, then make the CSS styling for the sticky. So it's div dot, remember it's sticky, curly braces. Okay, position would be obviously sticky. This is for the regular, for all other windows, but for Safari, if in case you happen to have a Safari, then it will be this, but in most of the cases it wouldn't be required. It's just a code that you can remember, but normally position sticky should suffice for most of the windows. Top margin 0, but I'll show you other choices. Background color, let's choose sky blue. Border 5, green, just for example's sake, padding, let's say 60px. Okay, let's run the code. Okay, now if I need more paragraph here to show you the scroll effect, so I head back to my HTML file, add more, ideally you can just grab from ipsum lorem paragraph, but here I just did the shortcut. There's a website from where you can grab the ipsum lorem. I'll include that in the description as well for your information. Yes, now it's scrolling more, as you can see, right? Okay, now what we can do is just add some more. So add just few more in here. About 5 to 10. Okay, let's run. Now it's scrolling much more. So since we've written here in the style sheet tab 0, so that's a threshold. So when it reaches the topmost position, it will stick there. Had I written then there would be a bigger gap, as you can see. Oh, I'm sorry. Run. Okay. So here what we can do is just bring the fixed one down so that you're not confused. Bottom 0. Run again. Okay, so there's no confusion. The fixed one is fixed here at the bottom because we fixed the bottom margin as 0. Now let's run again. Yes, it's much more scrolling now. So you can see this, when it reaches the top of the screen, the sticky element is getting sticky here. So the threshold is the top of the screen. Since we wrote top 5px, it is quite less as compared to the other sizes. So let's say if it is 25, let's run. There's a gap created here, as you can see, the margin. Now let's make it 45px. Okay. more gap. Let's make it 0, run. So the gap is removed. Don't bother about this, but just as you can see this screen, the gap is much less here. Earlier it was 3 times more. So this is how you can achieve this sticky. So the scroll position is where you mention here the top margin 0, right? And for the fixed position, it doesn't move. When you, as you can see, when you scroll, the fixed one just doesn't move at all. So that's why it's called the fixed position. No matter how much ever you scroll, it doesn't move relative to the page. But here, the sticky one, at first it moves relative to the page and relative to the other elements. But when it reaches its threshold of top margin 0, the top part of the screen, then it will stick to the screen. So this is the difference between the sticky and the fixed position. So you can kind of practice this at home, and I'll be also including the code wherever I've written the code, the file. You can have access to that in the description below if you want to practice and ask more questions regarding that. You are welcome to do that in the comment section. Please remember to subscribe, to follow, like, and also to kind of click the other button, the bell button, so that you will get personalized emails whenever I publish more of these lessons. And if you have any other comments or suggestions, you're also welcome to mention there. In case you want me to include more lessons or create more lessons in which you have some doubts which you want to learn, you're also welcome to mention it there in the comment section. And anything else, you can contact me in my social media pages, which I'm going to mention as well in the description below. Thank you. See you in the next lesson.